Round 2 for the modifieds will happen at Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway. Round 1 is where Romano and Ham both chased Chris Gershman as Gershman stood on top of the box. The best will all gather here once again to go at it. Smoke, no doubt, will fly as these guys chase a championship and a win here in the desert of Blythe, California. The modified drivers will be put to the test as they run 75 laps and chase the checkers. It's next. Welcome to the Bull Ring, round 2 of the Lucas Oil Modified Series. This is the Next Era Energy 75 Laps to Victory presented by E3 Spark Plugs. Ken Stout and Rob Clever to call the action for you here. Welcome to the desert of Blythe, California, Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway.
It's the 56th series event for the Lucas Oil Modifieds in their 7th season. 9 total races, over $180,000 up for grabs here this year.
We kicked the season off with a 100-lap event, 75-lapper on tap here tonight. And, of course, the best once again have gathered. They've been busy all day long with qualifying and the dash. Time now for the A main.
Well, let's take a look at our current point standings coming into round number 2. Chris Gershman out in front, of course, Doug Ham second, Nick Romano, Roger Brown, Aaron McMorrin. So very tight, of course, after the first round of the year as Gershman goes for his first career Lucas Oil Modified Championship.
We've got a lot of storylines developing. Of course, you go back to our first event. I think one of them has to be Martis. Jim Martis started off in the last row, worked his way up to 6th place, so he will be a solid competitor. You already mentioned Chris Gershman. Gershman charging and chasing that championship that has eluded him, has finished in 2nd place of the points, but wants to obviously do one better. So let's get you caught up with some of the storylines that are developing here.
It's going to be a very competitive season.
And the A main is stacked up here on the front straightaway as we get ready to start this 75-lap main event. Of course, earlier today, you already mentioned it before, Brown having a really good run in the dash. Well, keeping up with all the stories is our pit reporter, Terry Boyd, and there's no shortage of them here tonight, including a couple of ladies that are in the field and one that's new to us, Vanessa Robinson. With more, let's get it to Terry.
Guys, the driver to keep your eye on tonight is right behind me. It's 23-year-old Vanessa Robinson going from worst to first. She didn't even get into the main event in Lake Havasu. She sits on the pole position tonight here in Blythe, California. The first female ever to do it. She did it by changing crew chiefs and stiffening up the car. It's certainly fitting her driving style.
We'll find out how things shake down with her. This will be a very difficult race. I mean, these cars are tough to drive fast, and always a lot of fun to watch them try to make some passes. And much to our surprise, they were able to do it around the outside at Havasu.
Well, let's take a look at the Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway. Opened up in 2002. It's another quarter-mile bull ring, semi-banked asphalt oval. Just 12 degrees in the corners, 4 degrees of banking down on the straightaways. And they do a lot of different racing here. Of course, the street and factory stocks, legends cars, late models, sprint cars, the midgets, rally cars, and sometimes demolition derby. To a great racetrack here at Lucas Oil I-10. We call it a bull ring. It's beating, banging racing. The Lucas Oil Modifieds put on one heck of a show here at this track.
All right, everybody's fired up and rolling. When we come back, we'll start the Next Era Energy 75 Laps to Victory presented by E3 Spark Plugs.
The Lucas Oil Modified Series is brought to you by General Tire, anywhere is possible. E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. And by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
And they're collecting the American flags as everybody's made a lap here, flying Old Glory proudly here at Blythe.
So again, tonight a 75-lap feature event for the Lucas Oil Modified Series. Jim Martis was quick time, very fast, 14:325. The second race of a 9-race series this year will visit 6 tracks in 4 different states. Jim Martis there in the 51, trying to turn his year around. We mentioned struggling a little bit there to kick off the year at Havasu 95 Speedway, trying to become a 3-time Lucas Oil Modified champ this year.
Let's get it down to Terry Boyd for some final thoughts.
Car 51, Jimmy Martis, the start of his season was horrendous in Lake Havasu. He had to use a provisional just to get into the main event. He went from last all the way up to 5th. Tonight, he starts in the 3rd position. Doug Ham, who won the pole position, but due to the inverted start, started in 8th place in Lake Havasu. Tonight here in Blythe, he's got a little more work cut out for him. He'll start in 11th place.
And there's a look from the outside of Ham's car, flying some new colors there with Geico on the hood. Good luck to him. We'll bring you our starting grid as we get ready to start the 75-lap main event here. They're trying to put a little bit of heat in the tires, and how about that? Vanessa Robinson will start off on the pole. A lot of tough competition, including Jim Martis right behind her. Nick Romano, who was on the podium just 1 round to go as well.
Roger Brown will start in 6th spot, outside row number 3. Round 1 winner Chris Gershman inside row 4 alongside Jason Pattison, McMorrin, and Strobel there in row 5. And we talked about Doug Ham inside row 6 alongside the 28 car of Matt Hicks.
Go a little deeper. Jessica Clark inside of the car that won the championship a year ago alongside Doug Carpenter, Chris Cook, and Larry Gershman, Wes Miller, and Randy Usry, who had a tough race in our season opener.
And to round out your field, Pat Petrie, Keaton Swain, Taylor Minch, and David Crouch there. 22 cars, 75 laps here at Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway.
Coming around here looking for the green flag, the 5 car of Dave Arce on the outside. Lined up alongside Vanessa. They squeeze on the throttle already, way sideways. The 51 car of Martis right down there on the bottom. On the outside is the 10 car of Tim Morris.
And Dave Arce will lead. Lap number 1 gets around Robinson in the 14, who falls to 2nd as we go on board now from the 23-year-old driver out of Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Kind of an outside end move for Vanessa, using all the track available right there. And we go on board with Jim Martis. Martis really with a handful of steering wheel as well. Martis buried right on the bottom, and we stuff 4 of them right off the bat. Cook, Ussery, Jessica Clark, we talked about her before, inside of the championship winning car from a year ago. That's just 3 of them, 4 or 5 cars down there, and that could bring out a red flag, actually.
Yeah, not the way you want to start off your night for sure. You see Ussery climbing out of the 83, a lot of front-end damage there, and it looks like Cook right rear up off the ground.
Yeah, Ussery climbing out of the 83 car, as you mentioned before. I mean, he just had a really tough start to the season, even in round number 1. And it looked like the 44 car got turned around early on. That was Jessica Clark. Not sure if she did it by herself or had some help. But nonetheless, oh yeah, that looked like a hit to me. So not her fault, and then has the presence of mind to take her hands off the steering wheel. A frustrating moment.
We also saw the onboard shot, the 57 of Wes Miller, a victim of circumstance, nowhere to go. And yeah, that is Randy Ussery. So you called it red flag conditions on the racetrack. That will slow things down here at Lucas Oil I-10.
We'll get them sorted out and restarted when we come back. Great training ground for sure. It teaches a lot of car control, a lot of throttle control. Karts, of course, also a great training ground, a great platform. Always a lot of tough competition. Good side-by-side close battle. So we'll find out how she does here. She steps up in her career into the modified series. These cars will definitely put the drivers to the front.
Picked up a win last year as she chased modified points at the Stockton 99 Speedway, but chasing a series, a traveling series, is a whole different ball game. She certainly has her work cut out for her.
We'll get them restarted here. The 75-lap main event.
Dave Arce out in front, the number 5 car. Vanessa Robinson 2nd in the 14.
Again on board with Jim Martis. Martis, your quick qualifier earlier today. Fairly smooth early on. They'll get a little bit of heat inside of these tires, get everything up to pressure. And then you have to be really careful. And We actually heard one of the drivers say a little bit earlier in round number 1, a lot of times they're lucky if they get to go half throttle. I believe that was Jason Patterson said sometimes it's difficult to get much past half throttle with these cars.
You see right now running in third, that is the number 10 of Tim Morris out of Burbank, California. Finished up 10th to kick off the year at Havasu. Struggled a little bit last year here at Blythe. Best finish of 15th out of the 3 events. On board now with Nick Romano, who ended up on the podium to kick off the year. Right now runs 5th.
Yeah, Romano had a really good run, kind of took his time, was really patient early on in round number 1, and then towards the end of the run, started squeezing on it nicely in the upper groove, if you will, and kind of diamond off the turn, got a good run and picked his way back up into 3rd place. Another driver that's up here in the front, that number 10 car, Tim Morris, been doing a nice job so far. He's been quick out here today. Feeling the heat right now, though, from Martis. Martis sticking a nose in.
Yeah, we know Jim Martis doesn't waste a lot of time before he's going to make a move if he has a car that can do it. And if he has to, he'll go to that outside part of the racetrack, try and build that momentum up, or diamond the corner and shoot underneath the guy in front of him. So Martis, one of the best in this series. A little bit deeper in the field, Roger Brown, Chris Gershman once again going at it here for 6th.
Yeah, you say once again because they went at it in round number 1. Gershman was able to go around the outside of him, but he maintained a tough 2nd place there for a long time with the 16 car. McMorrin back behind him. McMorrin also having a solid effort, a good run when we were at Havasu.
Vanessa Robinson in that 14, still trying to get by your leader. As we just talked about it, right to the inside of Tim Morrison, he'll take 3rd.
Yeah, so hard to do, but if you can get that nose down in there just a little bit, kind of create the room, and boy, and he does it right away to Vanessa. Vanessa opens up the door, and now it might cost her 2 spots. You can see following through was the 10 car as well, so Tim Morris taking advantage of her moving up a lane.
Yeah, and here comes Jim Martis now, battle for the lead inside Dave Arson. Wow. Just like that. Hooked up, used the low line, and Jim Martis out in front.
Oh! Big incident. Much deeper inside of the field that involves the 3 car of Doug Carpenter and Taylor Mensch, who drove up over the top of him. Another look at it, and unfortunately, the 3 car just all by himself. Carpenter just gets that thing turned around, and the 5 car had no place to go. Tough spot for Taylor Mensch. Another incident here that involved Vanessa Robinson actually spun out, but she will get her spot back. So we see her cruising up underneath the field back into the 3rd position where she'll restart. Stay with us. There's a look at your top 5. Ars will get his position back as well, and Martis in 2nd. This is the Next Era Energy 75 Laps to Victory, presented by E3 Spark Plugs. 75 lap main event here at Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway. They come back around for the green flag. We get them restarted here. The 5 car gets the position back after being passed by Martis.
Yeah, when that caution flag came out, you go back to the last completed lap, and that put Ars back in front of Jim Martis.
Oh, and Martis went up, back down. I thought Vanessa had the nose stuck in there just a little bit. I thought he was going to clip her front end, but did not happen. Good presence of mind by Vanessa.
Yeah, you can see right there, Jim Martis slides up a little high, trying to shoot underneath Ars once again, and Ars will shut the door back in turn 1.
Yeah, Martis has already tasted this lead and no doubt wants to get back up there quickly. He is aggressively going after him, so rolls up just a little bit, tries to diamond off the turn and get a run. Does not get it done right there. There's the move, right around the bottom. Starts to stick in the nose. You can see the sheet metal on the 5 car on that left rear corner already sticking out a bit, but he does it cleanly there.
Yeah, looks like Dave Ars may have given him enough room there and thought, okay, Jim, you're a little bit faster, I'll let you by. But now here comes Vanessa Robinson back to the inside now of Ars.
She's learning quickly and no doubt wanted to follow Jim right on through there.
So Jim Martis back out front is your leader. The battle heating up again now for 2nd. Ars, who had to worry about Martis, now has to worry about Vanessa Robinson.
And we spoke to Jim earlier.
Track changed a little bit in the direction that it changed opposite of what I've been doing all day. So we made a couple of changes for that just to try it, which was the advantage of having that, unlike what we had in Havasu. But I think we got a good game plan for the main event. And, it seems to be pretty fast, so if we can keep it out of trouble, I think we got a good shot at it tonight.
And holding true to those words, feels pretty comfortable in the car. To the front he goes.
We talked about, Ken, at Havasu 95 about 2012, how it was Chris Gershman and Austin Barnes putting on the show for the championship. Marta's kind of out of that mix, trying to get back to the championship mode that he had back in 2011.
Vanessa Robinson, again, doing a great job, and I think has a little bit quicker car than ours. Has been right there, but not able to take advantage of a pass. And this track is very difficult. There's really no straightaway. You're constantly turning.
Tim Morris there in the 10, followed by Nick Romano in the 7, Roger Brown in the 16.
Chris Gershman, our winner, and round number 1, just back behind Romano in that group.
On board with Nick Romano for Garcia Racing, they brought Wes Miller, a 2-car effort here tonight in the 57. Right now, Miller running a little bit deeper in the field, but Romano trying to get back up on that podium like he did in round 1.
And you can see Romano maybe getting a little bit of love there. It's a little bit sideways from Gershman and manages to hang on to it, but paying attention to the eyes there as you watched Romano in that onboard shot, really looking ahead. Woo! Getting a little sporty out there.
Ours to second. Vanessa Robinson third. Nice side-by-side battle for the 5th spot. Nick Romano going top shelf on the 16 of Roger Brown.
Yeah, I think that was Brown trying to sneak underneath him, and so far, Romano trying to hang on. Romano's been loose a couple times. Not sure if it's been on his own or a little bit of help, but the boys and girls are nose to tail in there, and Romano now losing a little bit of ground. McMorrin now also sneaking up underneath him. McMorrin and Gershman having some contact as McMorrin came across the nose of Gershman early on. Romano really scrapping hard on the outside.
Yeah, it's just really tough to get on the outside part of the racetrack and stay there and make moves. If you can get by a car, you want to get back down to the bottom as quick as you can, and he's just got no way to do that now as we go on board with Aaron McMorton.
Yeah, I promise you Gershman isn't going to say, yeah, come on in here, buddy.
And now looks like Vanessa Robinson hung out to dry on the outside part of the racetrack, so she could be losing some spots as the 13 of Aaron McMorrin gets by, and here comes Chris Gershman.
Yeah, she's aggressively trying to get back in there, and unfortunately was at the nose of the pack a little bit earlier on and suffered the same fate. You get up one, just a little bit, so they get that nose underneath you and move you the rest of the way up, and then they're going to come right on by, the whole group.
Looking back on the 42 now of Doug Ham, who just got by Robinson, and now she gets tagged by Romano and comes to a stop. Wow.
I'm sure frustrated, and that's the problem. You open up the bottom early on, and if they can get a nose in there, and they will certainly try to do so. She tried to slam the door on him, and unfortunately they had contact, and she gets turned around.
Let's take a look at it one more time, and yeah, Nick Romano maybe threading the needle there. Not a whole lot of room on that low part of the racetrack, and gets into the left rear of Robinson.
Yeah, that one I think that one's on Romano there. I mean, he just was not far enough up the side.
Then we saw the 24 of Shelby Strobel spin out. We'll take a look at it one more time, and that's a tough call. That's just tight racing. You got Nick Romano trying to make a move, and Robinson really just trying to get back down to that low groove, and they came together, and unfortunately, she ends up spun out, and there is the 24 of Strobel.
He was fairly far up the side there until she started back down, so quite possibly Romano. Yeah, you can see the nose of the car almost midway through, so a little further than I initially thought. Unfortunately, Romano on the brakes was not able to get on him quite hard enough to keep all the contact from happening. Now, like you said, I mean, just good hard racing. Unfortunately, a byproduct of short track racing. Yeah, and you can hear the tires just squealing out there, and that's typically from the cars that are tight. A lot of steering input with those front tires, trying to get them to rotate. Overdriving just a little bit. It's what you do when you have to hang on to the spot. Man, there is a train right there that's nose to tail.
Yeah, you really have to have a car that turns well here at Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway. If not, you're going to heat up that right front tire, and it's going to be a snowplow all night long. And Gershman drives it in deep, gets on the brakes to not get into the back of McMorrin.
He's another one. I mean, his car is definitely faster. There's the opening right there, and Man, just enough. I mean, he ticked him, but he was also on the brakes to let him maintain the spot, if you will. He certainly could have turned him around.
Under 5 laps to go, now 3 laps to go, and Roger Brown again on that rear bumper of Tim Morse. Battle for the 3rd position.
Brown able to hold it right down on the bottom. Has the better of the 2 cars, but just does not have the position, so he has to be a bit patient. The 2 car up there smoking. One of the lappers gets up and out of the way. Has not caused a caution flag just yet.
Yeah, that is Chris Cook from Utah. Ran 12th at round number 1. He is up out of the group, but the white flag coming out. Can Jim Martis hold on? He's got a huge lead over Dave Ars.
One more clean lap, and Martis picks up the win. First one in 2013, and the race is on for the championship.
Yeah, Tim Morse getting loose on turn 4. Chris Gershman, your point leader, round 1 winner, ends up in the 6th position. But a dominating performance by Jim Martis. Fastest car to kick off the night. Got out front, checked out from the rest of the field. He'll win round number 2 for 2013 right here at Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway.
Tough battling here at the Bull Ring. We'll be back to talk to our winner in just a little bit. Stay with us.
The Lucas Oil Modified Series is brought to you by Loan Mart. Need cash fast? Call 1-800-LOAN-MART and they will get you the cash you need today. E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
Patience is the key if you're going to pick up a win here with the Lucas Oil Modified Series, and the 51 car did it tonight here at the Next Era Energy 75 laps to victory, presented by E3 Spark Plugs. Jim Martis doing what he needed to do as he took over the point early on. Here's a look at the results from Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway.
6th career Lucas Oil Modified win for Jim Martis. 2nd here at this racetrack. You see Ars, Morris, Brown, McMoran, your top 5. Nick Romano ends up 10th after a podium finish in round number 1.
Look at the rest of the field here. It's always tough when you come out here. Jason Pattison, a former champ, unfortunately having a tough go of it here tonight as the car was overheating. Also got caught up in an incident as well. Larry Gershman having a tough run, as did the 83 car of Randy Ussery. Let's get it down to the winner's circle and talk to Jim Martis. Terry?
Jimmy Martis, all day long, you've been working with that car, and I'll tell you what, you told us earlier in the day, people have been coming up and saying, what's the story? How come you're not winning? And you said, that just motivates me, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough for well, man, this thing was a hot rod tonight. I mean, you know, we've had good cars in the past. This thing was really good. There's very little I could do to it to make it better. But I got to thank Blue Water Technologies, Jam Sportswear, K&N Filters, Premier Wraps, and my engine builder finished 2nd. RC gives me great engines. Without all them, this wouldn't even be possible. So Lucas Oil gives us a great series to run in, and man, I'm ready for Vegas now.
Tell you what, you said it was all about the setup. You needed this car to be stiff. You kept lowering it, and I'll tell you what, it all seemed to work out absolutely perfect for you tonight.
Yeah, I can also give a shout out to Steve Teets. He built us this shock package, and Steve, it worked. And I mean, hard work pays off, and these guys and me, you know, we all bust our butts to come out here and put on a good show for the fans, and it was a lot of fun tonight.
Ken, I think the momentum has shifted. Jimmy Martis heading back to the top spot tonight.
I'll tell you, man, if you take a look at what he did also at our season opener, coming from the back of the pack, there is no doubt he has a lot of confidence, and that car is good. He also mentioned Ars finishing in 2nd as engine builder. He also builds the engine for the 3rd place competitor as well. So Dave Ars having a good run tonight in regards to the engines inside of the cars. There's a look at the points with Martis up top, followed by Chris Gershman.
Yeah, and Roger Brown there in 3rd, Doug Ham, Aaron McMoran rounding out your top 5. But with the win, Martis and Gershman up on top. It's going to be exciting this year.
Dave Ars finishing 2nd tonight, but I'll tell you what, you actually kind of got to win as the engine builder for Jimmy Martis as well. That's a pretty good night for you.
Yes, it is. Matter of fact, I built the guys before and after motors for the beginning of the season, and of course my own. So this is a great win for me.
Is that a three-peat? Is that what that is, a Blythe
All
three-peat?
three of these are my engines.
Wow, congratulations. That's got to make you, I don't know which better, finishing second or having your engines in all top 3 cars.
You know what? I'm okay with finishing second, having one of my engines behind me and one of the engines ahead of me. I'm okay with it. It's truly a treat to have this happen.
Ken, I think that might be a first in motorsports. I really do.
Good effort. I know for engine builders, they're very, very happy when they can dominate the podium like he did tonight. There's a look at our schedule, by the way. We'd love to have you come out and enjoy some of the great racing action provided by the Lucas Oil Modified Series.
Of course, we head up to Salt Lake City next. First time for the series at that racetrack, and we end the year with Vegas. Let's get back down to Terry.
Guys, here's the three-peat tonight. Tim Moore's finishing 3rd place tonight, but all 3 are running a Dave Ars motor. Was there any frustration coming in because this is a one-line track?
Yeah, this is a very one-line. There's a lot of give and take. You have to realize it, and then if you really breathe on someone here, because you're right at the very edge of driving. I mean, you're going to crash someone and wreck someone's car. So you got to do a lot of respect, give and take, and you're going to take some if you're going to give some. So it was very good racing. I was probably holding everybody up. My car was so tight, but oh well, it's still good racing. I owe Roger Brown a beer in the pits. I know that. He was very kind to me back there.
And so it goes in short track racing. Hope you enjoyed all the great racing action here from Lucas Oil I-10 Speedway. The Lucas Oil Modified Series will continue on in the run for the 2013 championship. For Terry Boyd and Rob Klepper, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the Lucas Oil Modified Series.